Good morning. Welcome to Viking Preparedness. I'm Pastor Joe Fox. So we accomplished something pretty cool in the last couple of days, right? And I kind of want to talk about that a little bit, but really draw from that, go forward with some lessons learned for your survival, preparedness, and how you can take what we've learned in the last few days and maybe move forward with that and do better. All right, now, before we cue the intro, YouTube does not like it when I play other people's music. You know, when I used to carry a rucksack for hours at a time, or when I would run ultra marathons for days, not days, but over a day at a time, a lot of people would wear like headphones and listen to music, and I never did. It just bugged me. Wires bouncing on me, sweat in my ears. And so I got really good at head music. I can hear a whole song, the entire symphony, in my head if I choose to. And so for this intro, you're gonna have to start playing some head music. And what you're gonna listen to today is Ace of Spades by Motorhead. Loud. Cue the intro. Pretty cool, huh? Teamwork. That picture was 4 guys coming out of a MH-60 helicopter, Black Hawk, getting ready to go do something. And they have a plan that they're going to execute. Everybody knows his part in the plan, and everybody knows everybody else's part in the plan, so that if things go a little bit sideways, that assault team can adjust and still continue on and accomplish the mission that they aimed for. Teamwork. This is not a picture here, we're going back again to the intro. This is not a picture of one guy coming out of a helicopter. There's 1, 2, 3, he's getting ready to go. There's 4 guys in this picture. Oh, there he is, right there. 4 guys. Plus the crew chief. No man's an island, right? We are created to be social creatures. You've heard me tell you this before and you're getting tired of it. But you know what? I tried. Joe Fox, the mighty Viking chieftain. I tried with YouTube over and over to get that nonsense stopped on another channel, and I couldn't do it by myself. Was not capable of doing it by myself. And yet together, we crushed that guy. I mean, you rock. You really do. And I appreciate it. I said that before and I mean it. But that was something that required team effort to get done. We had a direction, right? We had a purpose, and we had a general scheme of maneuver, but everybody kind of had their own little part to play. Some of you flagged individual videos, some of you flagged the channel, some of you wrote to YouTube, some of you told other people, you know, you gathered more resources into the group, and so everybody kind of fit in a slightly different way. We weren't a bunch of Ottomans all just, you know, marching like robots in step. And it worked, because one person couldn't have done it, but together we could. This is the story of human history, man. You know, great things get done by groups of people. No man's an island, I said that already. When times get hard, people are going to band together. There's that picture, I wish I had a copy of it. You can find it on YouTube probably if you type hurricane, you can find it on Google if you type in like Katrina, you shoot, we loot, you loot, we shoot. It was a bunch of, you know, guys. I think it was all guys. Might have been some gals in there. They had a 4x8 sheet of OSB, and they had spray painted on it, you loot, we shoot. And they were like in a cul-de-sac or a neighborhood or something. It looked like they were all having a barbecue. You know, they're wearing flip-flops and shorts and, you know, golf hats and stuff like that. They were all armed. It was a great little picture. But it was the community coming together in the aftermath of Katrina, when there was a lot of looting and just nonsense going on because law enforcement, you know, was overstressed, go figure. And they said, you know what, we're going to protect ourselves. And so they got together and they made a party out of it. I bet it worked. You get the impression when you looked at that picture, when I looked at that picture, I got the impression that these people, this was not their first barbecue, right? It was probably the first time they all got together with guns, but it was not their first barbecue, and they knew each other, and they knew each other's strengths and weaknesses, and you know, what buttons to push, what buttons not to push on people. That takes time, and that takes coming together for different situations to make that work. And it's a beautiful thing when it does work, and so much can be done. And so again, here I am beating my drum on y'all need to start developing relationships. Now, we have some kind of relationship, right? But it's not real. I mean, as much as we'd like it to be, it's not real. All those people of you who helped me in the last few days, none of you, okay, maybe a very small handful, would come here or be at Shofar Mountain to help me there if something happened, because we don't live together, right? We're all scattered all over the country and in fact the world, right? We have international viewers, and so this is kind of a fake dynamic, or you could say it's a different dynamic, right? As long as the internet's up, then there's an internet tribe. And we are one of those tribes, right? We're Vikings. That's what I've decided to call us. And so we are a tribe on the internet. And we can go forth in internet land and accomplish things. And that's pretty cool. We can support each other. That's pretty cool. But what we should all be prepared for is when this house of cards falls down and it's you looking out from your dark house into the outside, which... my kitchen wasn't so messy, I'd flip the phone around, but right now out here it's foggy and wet and pretty warm, actually, for December. But it looks kind of scary. And you're on your own. But hopefully you're not on your own. You have people. And I've said the same things over and over, so I'm going to try and attack it from a different angle to maybe give somebody else, one of you who the earlier talks didn't sink into. You do not have to form a prepper group, a survivalist group, a MAG, mutual assistance group, to be effective in end times, times of trouble, you know, whatever Tiawaki, whatever phrase you want to use. You just have to have a group of people. And that group of people, I think I said it in a recent video, could be your bridge club. It could be the Boy Scout troop. It could be, and when I say Boy Scout troop, you know, I have no idea in the state of Boy Scouts anymore. It's been a decade since I was a Scoutmaster. But we had a core group of people in my Boy Scout troop when I was a Scoutmaster we went camping every month, regardless of the weather. Every month we took the boys and we went camping. And every dad was allowed to go if he wanted to. But the reality was we always had the same 4 or 5 dads who went, you know, counting myself as a dad, or my assistant Scoutmaster who didn't have children, but he was cool. Same 4 or 5 guys, and then like 2 dads would like kind of just at random come to campouts from whatever, any 2 people, and they would come to like 1 or 2 campouts, and then they wouldn't come again. But that little core that we formed of those 4 men who would camp together all the time, you know, because we'd put the boys to bed, you know, they had to be in their tents by 10, right? So they're all down, well, we're awake, and we would sit around the campfire drinking coffee, you know, so that works real good at getting a good night's sleep when you're drinking coffee at 9, 10 at night. And we would sit up and just talk about everything, but we got to know each other. We got to know each other really well, and that was coming together, you know, 1 weekend a month sitting around campfires. You can learn a lot about people hanging out around campfires. It's valuable time. And so that group could have formed the basis of a mutual aid group in times of trouble if it had to. My wife and I were on a volunteer fire department for about 10 years. Talk about a group of people that'll come together and help each other. They already do. You know, they come together around here about once a day. There was some kind of incident, but then you get to know each other, and it's like Bob has a problem with this tractor, and Bill says, well, go talk to this guy, he'll square you away, or I got an extra part in my barn or whatever, and all of a sudden you have this little network, right? This network of people that can help each other. And so what am I telling you? You've heard that phrase, your mom probably told you, if you're my age. If not, I don't know what they told you. If you want to have a friend, be a friend. If you want to have a group, be in a group. Start joining groups. It's an interesting thing about group members. I've been in a lot of different organizations and groups, and I'm pretty good at seeing people, judging people, and within reason, to be an effective group member, you have to put the group's purpose ahead of your own. In other words, if you are part of the, and I only had one kid play soccer for half a season, so I'm trying to use a good suburban thing. You're part of the soccer group, right? You know, maybe you take turns coaching or bringing the orange slices or the drinks, or you're a ref or whatever. And so it's your day on Thursday to do something for the soccer team. And then something happens at home. You know, you come home and the dog's pooped all over the house or tore out the water line, or, you know, dun. All of a sudden you've got things going on at home. If you're going to be a good group member, you're going to deal with it. And you're going to do your duty on that group. See, it's a sense of duty, right? We're lacking that in our society today. You need to hold the group up higher than yourself. Within reason, right? But a lot of people just make excuses because they don't feel like doing something. And you know what I'm talking about if you've ever been part of a group. There's another dynamic that takes place in groups. And that is 10% of the people do 90% of the work in a group. Don't be one of the 90%. Be one of the 10%. Here's the other thing. Those 10% of the people get to make the decisions. And it's funny because that irritates some of the 90% of the people in groups. You know, it's like we've been trying to do this thing, and there's like the same people that are always coming together. Everyone's invited, but the same people are coming, and so then they make a decision and say, all right, here's where the group's going, and people over here start complaining about how they weren't consulted or they don't like the idea or whatever. It's like, well, where were you in the last 5 meetings when we were discussing this? And so if you want to be part of a group, be part of a group. I suffer, and it probably is a fault of mine, and I could probably use somebody on the opposite end of the spectrum close to me, which my wife is almost there. But I suffer from what I call the special operations mentality with groups. I would rather have 2 really good people than 20 people. It's just me. I want people who are, again, this is me. This doesn't make it gospel, right? This doesn't make it right even. I'm just giving you a perspective from coming out of my head. I would rather have 2 or 3 people that are just all in, ready to go, cojones to the wall, and you know, totally committed, than 20 people who are like, yeah, okay, that might be okay. I'm not good with that kind of dynamic, with the and so I kind of figure out really quickly who's serious, and that's who I focus on. That doesn't mean that's right, you know, because sometimes that alienates the people who are like, and then when something happens and you need a big group, they're not there, right? And so there's those dynamics going on. There's the all-inclusive people, the life of the party. Hi, I'm so glad you're here. How's your kid? How's your, blah, 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 da-da-da-da-da. They probably don't say kid. They probably know the kid's name, right? How's Jamie? No. You know, they bring everybody together, and they make everybody feel good. My wife's kind of like that, which is probably why we're paired, because we're almost opposite in everything, believe it or not. And I'm more of the, who's with me? Let's go. So just kind of be aware of the group dynamics of what's going on. Another thing in groups, you don't want to be the person who always shoots down every idea but doesn't have an alternative idea. It's like, all right, so on next Tuesday we're going to run the bake sale so that we can get money to buy the group tent that we want to buy, right? We all agreed on that. Well, I don't really think we should do a bake sale. People spend a lot of time just sitting at tables and not making much money. And, when you look at the work we put into making the cakes and the cookies, okay, so where are we going to get the money for the tent that we decided we want to get? Well, I don't know. There's a lot of things we could do. and then it just goes on, and there's nothing there. Right? I'm going to read you a poem for an intro here coming up. Got to find it first. But the naysayer, right? The kind of person that's always throwing a rock in the pond. And they kind of bring people down a little bit. You know, that'll never work. You don't want to be that person. Really good leaders can take that person and tweak them a little bit and bring them on board. See, that's the mark of an excellent leader. Which, see, I have room to grow as a leader, so do you. But it's like, find where everybody in this group of diverse people can best fit in, and then give them a task that maximizes their capability, that allows them to make the maximum use of their capabilities, right? Boom, how about you do this? And you know, that gets into leadership, which is another whole subject for another time. I'm just talking about being part of a group. You want to be a good group member. You want to be helpful. You want to be friendly. You want to be pleasant. You want to be cool to be around. And with prepper groups, because I know most of you are preppers, I mean, this is Viking preparedness. By the way, if you are watching this video on any channel other than Viking preparedness, you are watching somebody who's ripping off this video. Flag that video. Come on over to Viking preparedness and subscribe. I'll talk about that at the end too. But this is a prepper group. And so one thing I've noticed with prepper groups is people are overly paranoid. And it gets in the way of getting stuff done. There's a group that meets up in southern Missouri, and I haven't been able to go see them yet, and I wanted to. I was actually in the city where they meet for a medical appointment for my wife, but the timings didn't work out. And so I have no idea what they're like. But I bet you when they started, there were a bunch of just regular people who just kind of wanted to get together with people who like doing things that they like doing, who are into what they're into. And I bet you there were those dudes in the back who, you know, sunglasses on, it's 10 o'clock at night. Hey man, how you doing? What's your name? Bob. You know, they're just overly paranoid that, you know, whatever. Look, you don't need to be so darn paranoid. There is nothing illegal about getting together with people and talking about how to store water, and you know, you ought to do food storage, and did you know Sam's was having a sale on, you know, 50-pound bags of rice or whatever. Get with the program. There's a difference between things you want to keep secret and things you can just be open about. Be open. You know, come on, there's Doomsday Preppers is on TV. It's mainstream. So don't be so paranoid for prepper groups. Also, don't be the idiot in a prepper group who's always talking. I mean, it's like the only thing that rings your bell is all the conspiracies that are going on. They're doing this, it's the evil Jews, it's the evil them, it's the Muslims, it's the... Really? Dude, how about we just get ready for a loss of power and a lack of services for whatever means, caused by whatever means. You know, let's just focus on positively preparing. We don't have to go off on these tangents that we can't really do anything about anyway, right? So you don't want to be that guy in the prepper group. You don't want to be the guy in the prepper group that all you talk about is, you know, guns. Guns are important. Firearms are important. They have a definite place, and there's a time to talk about them, there's a time to train with them and everything else. Certainly not anti-gun. But, you know, I've just met so many people in prepper groups. All they're into is the latest Guga they put on their M4 and how everybody needs to do that in the group. I think Mr. Johnson over there with his 30-06 with the scope on it, if that's all he has, we can use him. We don't have to make him get the Krebs whatever, you know, come on. So you either want to be part of a group or you don't. If you want to be part of a group, try to fit in. Try to be pleasant. Try to be helpful. Try not to be overly helpful. I'll do that. Just be cool. Just be normal. Can we all be normal? No. But try to join a group. You ought to make that like a goal. I know a lot of you make New Year's resolutions. Go try to join a group. It doesn't matter what kind of group it is right now. And I'm talking to people who aren't in any kind of group. All you do is go to work, come home, lock your door. Join some kind of group. I don't care if it's the Monday, Wednesday, Friday weightlifting club, if it's the ladies spin club. See, I'm doing fitness in there. See, notice that little subliminals? You know, whatever. If it's the backgammon club group, whatever. Get together with some other people and learn how to get along with people. Because there's a time coming, perhaps soon, when we're going to have to work together. And I'll just kind of wrap this up by saying you're going to form a group anyway. You're going to be in some kind of group when it all comes down, or you're going to get acted upon by a group. And so you'll join a group. Wouldn't it be better to join a group that was already going in the direction that you were able to influence as it went? All right, so that's that. Now, I promise to y'all, and I should have probably said this in the beginning so you stuck around for it. If you didn't, I'll do it one more time. I have one other channel on YouTube. It's called Shofar Mountain. It's where we primarily put up the sermons that we do. And I keep them a little bit separate because some of you are really interested in that and some of you aren't. Okay, so Shofar Mountain is my only other channel on YouTube. If I ever start another channel, like a backup channel or something like that, I'll tell you about it. You'll know. I'm not going to leave, and if I ever leave YouTube, unless it's like, you know, the balloon just went up and it's like, we're out of here, you know, and I just go dark. But, you know, if I'm ever like going to go to Vimeo, which I'm probably not going to Vimeo, I looked at that, Full 30, too much Just Guns, I don't think they would like this talk that I just gave, things like that. But if I'm ever going to go to another place, or if I just set up, because I probably won't go like, I'll probably set up the other place and then move into it, I'll tell you. You'll know. Don't worry about it. I have a blog that's not very active anymore. My old blog is Viking Preparedness at blogspot.com. And my new blog is Viking Preparedness at WordPress or whatever. I've got it bookmarked on my computer, but those of you who are in the blogs will find it. It's Viking Preparedness at WordPress or .wordpress.com or something. And so, you know, I'll put stuff out that way. We have the pistol course coming up in about 2 weeks. And that's full, and we have the patrolling course coming up in about 2 months, and we still have a couple slots for that. And so if you're interested, send me an email, put the course title in the subject so I read it, and yeah, why don't you make a resolution to go join a group? Be a group member, be a good group member, be the reliable one. All right, I'll see you out there.